Hey guys, Drifter here. Today I want to talk about the top 10 things from the Call of Duty Modern Warfare beta that I think need to be fixed. This is essentially my constructive criticism video to Infinity Ward over the beta. Number one for me is connection inconsistency. Overall, the connection was good for me, or at least it was during the first 3 days of the beta. During the first 3 days, it felt fair, it felt reasonable, and overall good, and for a Call of Duty game to not have connection complaints, that is rare, and I was happy. However, I did see rumblings on Twitter that Exclusive Ace and some other community members were having really laggy servers. I saw a lot of my fans and other people saying that I died before I even saw the enemies, I die in one shot, other people eat and I get melted. I do know that the EU servers, Middle Eastern servers, and Southeast Asia servers were very rough too, and not exactly what I would call consistent. I know Americans that were put on EU servers, so the location matching wasn't working quite right. And then on the last day of the beta, it hit me. It hit me right in my feels. It hit me very hard. For those of you that watch my Mixer stream, I got super mad because I was getting melted all the time. Like, I would just almost instantly die. I felt like I couldn't fight back. I felt like everybody had better reaction time. Everybody was pre-aiming every corner. And then it went away for like a game or two. And then it would come back as strong as ever. And on my last day of the beta, the connection was just not very consistent. So whatever's going on with the connection, I want that to stop before the main game comes out. I want my consistent first 3 days of beta back. Number two for me is sprint out times need adjusting. They can be utterly brutal on some weapons like light machine guns and DMRs, and they're a little bit slow in general. This is designed for realism and to kind of discourage just sprinting around the map. But more than that, the sprint out times, I believe, are long enough to where I feel I am disproportionately punished for rushing. All of my old skills like quick sprint around a corner, pushing a building, or how I move in combat get me killed. I have to fundamentally relearn how to do Call of Duty combat, and I'm all on board with change. But I feel that in order to be successful, I should sprint as little as possible. I should just normal walk, like literally just like kind of hip fire, gun out kind of walking, walk ADS ready, or just pre-aim every single corner so that I don't get just murdered, or maybe just shoot people in the back. In my opinion, it is too hard to rush. Maybe attachments will save us here, maybe new perks, maybe a new meta, maybe there's some sprint out adjusting stuff that can be done, but right now it's just a little bit too slow for my taste. Number three is that spawns need adjusting. They are mostly good throughout the beta, at least for me, but not always. There was no shortage of instances where I was spawning with people looking at me a couple times in a row, spawn into missiles, or if I was pushing the enemy spawn where they would pop up all around me, and I saw some on Reddit that were exceptionally bad too. Overall, the spawns were good, but they were definitely a bit rough around the edges, and that there were some scenarios that you could engineer through spawn locking and pushing people to kind of kill them over and over again. I think the spawns need more love. They were not release ready. Number four for me today is lighting. Sometimes Modern Warfare gets impossibly dark. I get that the game needs to be realistic, and in real life you want to lay in the dark and watch the people outside or under the lights. But it's dark to the point where it ends up becoming very hard to play, even when you're in the same lighting scenario as your enemy. Sitting in a dark corner can make enemies literally invisible, to at least me, and it's even worse if you're in low health, where you're all black and white and your screen has that slight blur. They're like completely invisible and you really can't see anything. Or if you have a gun that has a lot of muzzle flash or gas blowing out the sides, it doesn't take much to make it impossible to see your enemies. There's too many dark areas, there's too many dark to light juxtapositions, people can hide a little bit too easily in my opinion, and in my opinion this is too punishing on the user. I would lighten this up in order to favor playability over realism. And on that same topic, I think that this is number five for me, I think that red names should be centered on the person instead of to the side. So if the game is going to be so dark that enemies can hide and they're difficult to see, then what I'm going to do as a player is I'm going to rely on those red name pop-ups, and even on some of my guns there's perks that make them pop up at longer ranges, or we can tag enemies and stuff. And I thought that was very useful, except that the names weren't centered over the person's head. They would have like a little dot on the head and the name off to the side, and I'm used to COD names being centered for so long, I would always shoot to the side of them and just hit nothing but air. I mean, the game has me shooting at ghosts. I don't think that's very good balance. If you're going to keep it dark, we should at least center these names. Number, well, this isn't a number. This is a bonus one today. Do you know what else is broken? My spine. It's not great. That's why my hair's looking a little crazy. I did a lot of walking and stretching and stuff today. But I did want to promote Holistic Extracts, which is a CBD company I'm working with. CBD helps relieve a whole ton of different kind of pains. It is the first link down there below in the description. I use the product daily. If you would like to try it to alleviate some of your pain, I'd appreciate it. Number 6 is that I think Infinity Ward needs to choose a minimap or an outline. So I do like that Infinity Ward is willing to experiment and listen to the community demands when it comes to having a minimap. I'm glad that they're willing to try something new instead of like, no, our way or the highway, and just kind of barrel on ahead. Overall, personally, I prefer to have the minimap on, but without the red dots and enemies to shoot. But when the minimap is on, I find it unnecessary to have the blue dots of my teammates and their outlines moving around all on the map. I find it a little bit annoying. There ends up being too much visual clutter on the map for me to get a good feel of what's going on, and I have my teammates' stupid blue dots blocking enemies sometimes. And I think that if we're going to have the minimap, the blue dots and outlines can be turned off for playability reasons. Number 7 for me is I think flinch needs adjusting, especially on the marksman rifles. I swear to God, it had to be a bug, because the marksman rifles have more flinch than any other weapon in the game. And I think the Mark 14 is a very good gun. My last video was on it. But if you get shot while you're using this, good luck, because you're going to be looking at the sky. And I think that a penalty that big will make this entire weapon class nearly useless. LMGs are pretty similar too. They have a lot of violent kick, but they also have a lot of flinch, which doesn't make sense. You'd think if you were a heavy weapon, you'd be weighted down more and you wouldn't flinch as much, but I guess not. I do think that flinch needs to be adjusted. Moving along to number 8 today. This is a big one for me. Claymore color and timing both need adjustments. Right now, I believe that Claymores are way too strong. We're unlocking them at a very early level. It's already a camp-heavy game. It's already a defensive game. Claymores are everywhere. But on top of that, they are very hard to see. The lasers don't load sometimes. They're not particularly bright other times. And oftentimes, Claymores are going to be planted in a dark room anyway, so it's very easy to run over them without noticing, which is kind of what they're designed to do. And I totally get that. But what bothers me the most about them is that the Claymores detonate almost instantly. And I don't know how many COD games I've had Claymores, and I've died to them more times than any... If I had $1 for every time I died to Claymores, I could buy a couple more Teslas, but I would always run past them and I would hear this click, and I would have just a split second to react, to jump, to dodge, to try to slide around the corner, to maybe I can get to just the other side of the Claymore. You'd hear the click and then boom. In this game, Modern Warfare, it's just a boom. They pretty much detonate instantly, and I think that they have low visibility. There's no audio cue, no reaction time, nothing to do about it. They need to be adjusted to be more visible or have a slightly slower detonation time. Otherwise, they're literally just landmines. You might as well just scrap them and literally have insta-kill landmines on the map. And yes, I do know about the perk that makes them detonate slower. Aside from that, it's still really fast. Number 9 for me today is teammate footsteps. They need to be quieter, please, Infinity Ward. I'm really happy with the audio changes from alpha to beta. Whatever was done, I can hear it better. I know, oddly, other people say their sound got worse, and my personal pet theory on this one, and I have literally no evidence to back this up. This is like the community and skill-based matchmaking. It's all like anecdotal. I believe that Sony changed the sound cards, or how sound is processed, on the PlayStation 4 sometime shortly after the introduction of the PS4 Pro. Because I've played, like, I did this on Blackout. I'd play Blackout at home on my setup, PS4 Pro, Astros, can't hear anything. I'd go to an event where it's noisy and then play on a different PS4 Pro, same Astro headsets, perfect. Amazing audio, and I get inconsistent feedback about audio here in this game as well, and I believe there's something that Sony did to screw that up. But back on topic, I mix up enemy and friendly footsteps literally all the time. I would like for friendly footsteps to have a slightly different noise, or be slightly quieter, or a little bit easier to distinguish. The minimap does help though. Number 10 today is I still prefer point streaks. I am not rewarded for capping flags or objectives. I am not rewarded for defending HQ points. I am not rewarded for shooting down airstreaks at all. And on a team of 10 people, oftentimes I'm literally the only person playing any objectives or shooting down any air support or doing anything. And I feel that introducing some capacity of point streaks over kill streaks would make these tasks more rewarding and encourage more teamwork. As far as shooting stuff down, you need a lot of UAVs to shoot down to equal 1 kill, but I think capping a dom point should be worth a kill. I really, really do. That would make people actually want to cap them. Number 11 today, 11, I can't quite, I don't have 11 fingers. I said I was only going to do 10, but I'm going to do 11. Maybe I'm drunk on this one, but I don't know where the quiet door opening and light switches went. So when I played in our very early alpha of the game, part of our presentation was they showed us how you can like just sprint and like bust open this door, or how you can hit square and open it quickly, or how you can just like tap square and like gently push it open and kind of look in and throw a grenade in there and stuff like that. That doesn't appear to be present in this beta. I do not know how to open doors quietly. Maybe I'm drunk, maybe I'm dumb, maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it seems like it's pretty much super loud doors or nothing. I want my quiet option back. I think that would make the game a lot more tactical. And on that same note, where did all the like garage door switches and lights you can shoot out and all that stuff? That just seemed to have gone the way of the dinosaur. We're sticking with simplicity here. I kind of miss the light switches, especially in realism and night modes. Guys, that is all for me. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that you enjoyed the feedback. For those of you that may be in chronic pain, I hope you try the CBD, not because I need the money, but because I'd rather have healthy subscribers. If you enjoyed any of this content, don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Drifter out.